I'm here in Medjugorje and I'm with, what's your name?
Jacob.
Jacob, where are you from?
Washington, D.C. area.
And first time for you here in Medjugorje?
First time, yes.
Why did you come?
I really came to see what it was all about and to expand my faith and to just get a greater understanding of what God's trying to do, what God is accomplishing here.
Yeah. And when you heard about the story of Medjugorje, did you believe it?
I'm always a little skeptical at first, so I enter things with a hesitance, and then I move in slowly, and then so I didn't really believe it at first. It's not that I didn't think it was true; it's just I wasn't sure.
And you came now. What is the experience?
It's been wonderful. It actually feels like the most surprising thing about it is it feels like that Christ is here, that this is a Christian area, and it's the people are so nice, and there's something happening here. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but God is at work here for sure.
And you said you were Protestant?
Yes.
And you came to the Catholic faith.
Yes.
Can you describe a bit the process?
Yes. So I grew up Protestant. I grew up non-denominational Christian. I went to a Baptist school for 12 years. We had Bible class and we had chapel twice a week. And my dad and family are very religious. It was always very important for them to study the Bible and to read the Bible. My dad grew up Catholic. In 2019, I went to Italy, and I went to Rome, and it really impressed upon me the history of the Catholic Church and what the Catholic Church has done for Christianity, and how it has really been the protector of Christianity for the last 2,000 years, and has been pretty steadfast with that message. So after that experience happened, I went back home and I started studying Catholicism and trying to learn more about it and try to really fill in the gaps, because when you grow up Protestant, Christianity has a gap of about 1,500 years from when Martin Luther comes around, and you don't learn about the Church Fathers, you don't learn about Augustine, and you don't learn about these other people who are so. Who are such good stewards of Christianity, and really God worked through them to continue the message. So so I started studying, and I became really interested, and my younger brother was very interested in this stuff too, so I would talk to him about it. And one day I just happened to look up a local parish was doing a Latin Mass. It was a Friday night, and I texted my brother and I was like, "Hey, do you want to go? They're doing a Latin Mass here on Friday." And he was like, "Okay, yeah, I can make it." And he came over and we both went to the Latin Mass, and I said, "You know what? I'm going to come back on Sunday." And then I came back on Sunday, went to the regular Mass, met with the priest, and started talking about what it would take to go through the RCIA program and become Catholic. Wow. And I really felt like I felt a peace about all this that I never really felt with going to Protestant churches.
Did you, in the process, because I was in the Protestant churches for a time, in the process, were you also amazed that the Protestants leave out some books of the Bible? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I was surprised. I kind of knew of the Apocrypha, they call it. Yeah. But I never had read any of those books, like Maccabees, and So I was very surprised to also find out later that Martin Luther kind of picked and chose
what
some
he liked.
things.
What was his concept?
And then I guess he was gonna pull out the whole book of James, and I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of a big deal. So that he didn't like James, and
not only by faith but by works.
Yeah.
And that's logic. If you follow the Holy Spirit, you do something.
Yeah.
You're not sitting around.
By your fruit they will know you, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, the works are evidence of your faith, I think, and like we shouldn't. If we're not producing works, then there's a problem within ourselves, I think.
And then you entered the process and you became Catholic.
I became Catholic, May 21st last year.
Congratulations.
So,
welcome home.
Yeah, thank you. That was a great experience.
And because that, you know what that was? I have a Jewish friend in Israel. He was going in San Francisco to bookstore to read, and he heard like Protestants, and they talked about Jewish stuff, and they said, "Man, what's that?"
Yeah.
And then they were always there. And then they encouraged him, "Why don't you get a Bible and read it?" And he opened the book, he bought the Bible, and said, "No, come on, let's read it, the New Testament." And he clearly heard a voice. He started to cry. You know what the voice said? "Welcome home, son."
That's amazing.
That's why it came out of me, you know, for you, same thing kind of, from another point of view or journey.
Absolutely.
And what would you tell Protestants now, for example, what's Our Lady? What is it about? You observed it here now, you see what they do. Is she a goddess?
Absolutely not. She is just relaying Christ's message. Like at the end of the day, she's telling everybody, focus on Christ, not on her. She is here to remind people that Jesus is risen, that we follow the one true God, and that you can make a difference in the world.
And what I liked about you, what you told me in the conversation we had before, a lot of people say this town is Christ-centered. Our Lady helps us to get to Christ. We have adoration, the Mass, that's important, the confession.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, they're constantly having Mass at the church, and you can go to confession. It seems almost 24 hours a day, but I'm sure it's not. It's amazing, and I would recommend everybody come here with an open mind, and come here to worship Jesus. That's what it's about.
And you went to confession?
I did. I went to confession.
Can you explain Protestants, what's the beauty of confession? Because I have Protestant friends watching.
Yeah, the Bible tells us to confess our sins one to another. And I think if you have not been to confession, like I was not in confession for 45 years basically, right? You don't understand the burden that it actually relieves you of. It feels good, it's cathartic. You feel the spiritual difference to just talk to a priest and say, these are the sins that I've done, these are the things that I've done wrong. And of course, you can offer those up to Jesus, but to go to confession with the priest I think it is a very worthwhile experience. And it helps you, there's accountability there. You don't want to have to keep going back to the priest and saying, I keep doing these sins. So it really helps you become a better person.
And you have more peace and joy now?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
And for our Protestant friends, it's written in the Bible, Jesus said to the apostles, I give you the power to forgive in my name. And that's where the Catholic priesthood is coming from, no?
Yes. Yeah.
And what happened at the Latin Mass that you suddenly were so convinced? What was it?
I think it was just the history and the beauty of it all. And you realize that this is the same Mass that they've been doing for, 2,000 years, essentially, like 1,900 years, right? And I think that is what draws me to Catholicism, is the fact that it is a continuation of Christ's teaching.
So the Apostolic Succession, that the Apostle, from Jesus to the Apostle, every priest is
you can
blessed.
trace every priest, every pope back, to Peter.
And what is your favorite place here in Medjugorje?
So we have not been, because of the weather, we haven't been to Cross Mountain yet. But
the big one?
Yeah. But Apparition Hill was beautiful. It's the whole area here is wonderful. The people are wonderful. Everybody is so nice, and you should have no reservations about coming here and visiting, and to just go to the church and just sit and listen to the masses. They're beautiful. The spoken language here is beautiful, and I would just recommend it to everyone.
Wow, unbelievable. And you got a favorite saint?
Yes, I do. St. Michael is actually my favorite.
Saint Michael, right? Protecting you?
Yeah, yes.
Your family, your young family?
Yes, and I named my son is Michael, is his middle name.
Really?
Yeah.
Beautiful, because my best friend's Michael.
Yeah.
My brother Michael.
That's right. My best friend is Michael too. So, yeah.
And what would you tell Protestants? Why the saints? Why this? What is the position of them?
I mean, I guess what I would say is that they act as, what's a good word for it? That they can pray on your behalf. They'll pray on your behalf, just like you ask your friends and family who are living to pray on your behalf. You're praying to them and asking them to pray for you, to be your support, to be part of your larger support system.
Yeah.
And I think that's the beauty of it. You know, just because they're dead doesn't mean they're gone.
And is there something else you want to tell our Protestant friends about Our Lady? What?
I would just say the Catholics don't worship Mary. She is not God. She is the mother of Jesus, and she is adored, and they love her. And don't believe everything that you hear about what Catholics really think about Mary.
And you pray the rosary now? Or how is that
pray
for
the
you?
rosary now, yeah.
Why?
And it brings me such peace to do it. There's been no greater peace in my life, honestly, than praying the rosary. It just calms down all my anxiety. And I feel like when I do it, I receive blessings every day that I do it.
And what is the Eucharist for you now? Because for the Protestants it's a symbol.
It's symbolic for the Protestants, yeah.
And for you now, what would you explain to a Protestant now? What is the Eucharist?
It's the body of Christ, and it's Christ manifesting himself physically in this world, and it's to be taken very seriously. And it is not just symbolism, it is substance.
And it's written in the Bible. Why did all the friends of Jesus left? 1,000 left, only 12 stayed. They said, you are crazy now, telling this is body.
That's right.
And the Protestants believe in miracles. They love miracles, no?
That's right.
And why couldn't Christ do that, no?
Right.
And what can I say? I can only say thank you for that beautiful interview.
Thank you.